Everyone, welcome to today's edition of Strong and Steady. I am Jen. Let's get started with our warm-ups. So I'm seated on my chair, on my sit bones. Let's extend our arms out from our sides and start drawing some small circles with our arms, being mindful of breathing into a heavy low belly, maintaining a stable torso. Good, my heels are into the ground, helping to support my stable legs that I'm holding in parallel to my hips. Good, let's change direction of those arms. Long breaths, inhale and exhale. Good, okay, now I'm gonna swing my arms to the front and open to the back as I crisscross alternating arms out in front. Opening through the shoulder blades, then opening through the chest. Good, okay, now arms at our sides, and then we're gonna work through backstroke circles. Again, opening through the chest. Good, 5 or 6 circles with the left hand, and then we'll switch to the right hand. And I'm positioning my other hand on my knee, and it helps me focus on being stable in that side of my torso as I open up the other side. Good, now let's come to standing. Place hands on your hips, elbows back. Now soften through the knees, and we're gonna begin with our hinges. So our fanny goes back as we melt our shoulders toward the ground, keeping them and that spine nice and neutral. So a flat back, descending toward the ground, warming up the hamstrings and glutes, getting ready for some work here today. For our class today, we are going to be working from our folding chair as usual. We have some dumbbells. I have a stick. And then if you're working there at home, if you needed a mat or a blanket to lay on the ground, and a pillow to support your head if you needed that support for your neck. Okay, now we're kind of warm back there, so go ahead and cross your arms out in front, elbows in parallel to shoulders. I call this genie arms. And we're gonna initiate like we're gonna do a hinge, soften the knees, sending the butt back, but then I want us to sit down into our body weight squat. And begin kindly and gently here. We're just warming up. You don't have to go very deep. What you do need to do is focus on weight in your heels and maintaining that neutral spine. What I mean by neutral spine is the shape and curvature of your spine does not change from a standing to a squatting position. Good. All right, nice work. Okay, now we're gonna start with our format, and I'm back on my chair. Our format today is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, okay? And we're gonna cycle through each element twice, okay? So we'll go 5, 10, 15, 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, all right? Now, for the first one, we're gonna focus on chair squats, and we're gonna break this down a little bit. I've got my stick, because I don't want to start with dumbbells here. I'm going to start with my stick, and I'm going to extend it out in front of me with my palms up, okay? Not down, because I don't want to think about my arms can drop down really readily and there'll be no consequence. My arms are extended out like I'm holding out a platter of sandwiches or whatever, your favorite beverage. And my fingers are open, okay? So my risk if my arms drop is that the stick will fall out. Now, why do I have my arms extended? Because I want us to think about using our lats here, okay? We're doing chair squats, and we're trying to, 1, eliminate momentum, 2, activate glutes, 3, take care of our spines by making sure our lat and low belly is working. Okay. All right, so here I am, legs in parallel, heels digging into the ground, palms extended with my stick. Okay, I don't want my shoulders to rise up and shoulders to rise up either, shoulder blades, okay? So exhale into your heavy heels, low belly, and rise. And sit back down with control. 2, 3. Remember, exhale before you start moving to get that low belly engaged. 1 more. See how we have to sit with control. Good. Okay, that was 5. Now we're going to do airplane arms. Okay, so we're going to keep our legs positioned as they were, and we're going to hinge in the seated position. Okay, so our back remains nice and flat, and our arms are going to dangle down from our sides. So dangling towards your ankle bones, but do not relax through your shoulders. We shouldn't be rounding. We should remain in neutral. Your gaze should be slightly forward, and we're going to exhale and pull from the backs of the shoulders, drawing your arms, i.e. your wings, up toward the sky. 3. Now, 4. Your arms are dead. 5. You're not contracting with your shoulders or your chest, and not from your arms. You're drawing from the back of your shoulders and your lats. Give me 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Okay, exhale and return to your upright position. Now, we're going to grab a set of dumbbells, a little bit more shoulder work. We're going to stay seated for this first round. Second round, we'll take this stuff to standing, okay? So on our sit bones, dumbbells at our sides, and we're going to exhale into a front raise. Now, I want us to have palms down as we front raise, okay? So your palms now should be facing the back. Exhale and raise to the front and lower. So we have 15 of these. Good. So as you start, heavy heel to activate the glutes. Good. Keep your neck relaxed as you're able. That's 5, 6, 7. You might be sensing already the need to have an active low belly. 8, 9, and 10. Good. 5 more. 1, 2, 3. Just a parallel. 4, and 5. Good. A lot of shoulder, a lot of chest work there. Okay. Dumbbells down. Now let's come to standing with our chair. Okay. So I'm going to use the back of my chair right now, not just for balance. Okay. We're going to do standing hip abduction. So moving away from our midline is abduction. Okay. So we're going to use the back of our chair. Yes, it's going to help us stabilize, but we're also going to use it to help us activate through our side body. Okay, so abduction, we're going to draw the heel away. All right, so I want you to think obliques and glute. Okay, hands down on your chair. Exhale, 1. And we're going to do 10 on one side, 10 on the other. 2, 3. Now you want a nice and stable torso. 4, 5. And focus on stability and movement. If you find it is painful, stop before you get to that edge. 7, 8. You shouldn't be bending. 9, and 10. Good. Let's move to the other leg. Now, one glute is stabilizing, one glute is working. Ready? Exhale, 1. And focus, 2, on drawing from the heel and not the toes. All right? If you draw from the toes and work past that parallel, then you're using your quads a little bit more than what we want. We want to be using that glute, that back butt, and the obliques. 8, 9, one more, and 10. Okay, so now probably both sides are burning. You're feeling the effects of one leg stabilizing, the other leg working. Okay, now we're back to the top. All right, so I've got my stick again. We're gonna stay with it. This is a good tool for us. Okay, check in. When your feet are on the ground, you should feel them resting gently in your heels. If they're drawn in too close to your chair and resting on the balls of your feet, and you can't get your heels to the ground, they're too close. Okay, send them away so they're under your knees, maybe out a little bit from there even. Okay, extend that stick out, squeeze through your lats, exhale into your low belly, and rise. Exhale as you sit. 2. Okay, focus, 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 nice and still in your stick. 3. Exhale as you sit. 4. Good, dig those heels. Heels, heels, heels. Last one. 5. And exhale. Nice work. Way to not spill your favorite drink. Okay, now we're gonna do upright if you want this variation for airplane arms. If you're more comfortable on the chair, that's fine, but we're gonna move into an option which is in a bent over position. Okay, so my legs are in parallel, I'm hinging at the hips, and now my arms can dangle from my shoulders. I'm looking at you, but you should be gazing down comfortably at the ground, maintaining that neutral spine. Exhale, draw your arms up and down for 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Draw that belly in. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, nice work. Now we have the dumbbell front raises from a standing position, or alternatively, you can be back on your chair. Okay, so standing, now I know what I'm watching for. I want complete torso stability. So I'm going to stand with my knees just slightly bent like shock absorbers and my hips just slightly down. So here's me upright and here's me down. I'm not in a squat. I'm just trying to create some absorption, okay? So hands are at my side, palms are down. Draw in your low belly. Exhale and raise. And down. 2, and down with control. 3, and down. 4. Good. Now what you want to watch for is keeping your weight in your heels. Don't buck your hips. We're totally still. With our knees bent and our hips down a little bit, we should be more sensitive to whether we're trying to thrust our hips to help get this weight up. If you're doing that and struggling, you should be focusing on, let me do as many as I can with good form. And then maybe I just set my dumbbells down if I don't have a lighter weight to use today. And I focus on my practice and my low belly. Let's go 3 more. 1, 2, and 3, and down with control. Nice work. Okay, back to our chair. Now for this round, I'm gonna show it to you from the side so you have a little different view of what I'm doing. Okay, so I have the seat back nice and close to me. I'm gonna squeeze as I grip down to help activate lat to oblique. And let's go ahead and do 10, drawing from oblique on the left and heel on the left. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm poking myself in the left oblique, making sure I'm staying active there. Good, 4 more. Nice and slow. Now, if you had a resistance band at home, and wanted to increase your intensity on this exercise, you could put the band around your ankles as you do this to give you a little more push. Okay, ready? Opposite side now. Initiating your exhale, neutral spine. 1. Good. Don't lean into the chair. Stay nice and stable. If you can imagine that you had headlights on your shoulders and hips and they remain pointing forward. Now you don't have to say, gosh, why can't my hips open as much? It's not about how big your hips open. It's about contracting with those glutes and obliques. 2 more. Good, nice work. Okay, let's march it out for 30 seconds now. Ready? And go, and march. Okay, we got some nice burn in our glutes. Now we're gonna march and get a little bit of blood flow kind of everywhere else. Okay, so I have my hands at my sides, elbows are bent, and my thumbs are working from ear to hip. My core is nice and tight. I'm trying to get my knees up as high as I can. Staying in balance, stepping in the same footprint over and over. Good. 10 more seconds. Good, easy work. All right, nice job. Okay, now let's move on to our next work. Our next circuit, we're gonna utilize the chair in the beginning. Now we're gonna do push-ups today. So I'm gonna put heavy weights in my chair just to make sure that I don't tip it over. You can also use the edge of a sofa table or a countertop. All those are great options. Okay, now, here I am at the back of the chair. My hands are resting gently on the back, kind of running parallel and not to the side. And I'm gonna start walking myself out to a high plank that I can support, okay? So this is an incline plank, and I want to keep the weight in my lats as I get on my incline plank and not to be into my shoulders, all right? And I'm gonna be lowering my chest about at my sternum toward the back of this chair, okay? So I'm on the balls of my feet and my feet are in parallel, and I have 5 of these. I'm lowering myself by bending at the elbows, and the elbows are staying close to my ribs. And then extending, and that's 1. Lower with control, and straighten for 2. 3. 4. Notice I'm exhaling throughout as a reminder of staying tight in my low belly. Okay, that's 5 terrific push-ups. All right, now we have lateral lunges. Okay, so we have 10. Now our ideal is to do peekaboo around the chair, right? So we're gonna use the chair as we need to. If you don't need the chair, that's great. But for this first set, it might just be a good opportunity for us to get open in our hips. Okay, so my hands are at the chair. I'm gonna step out to the left and push off, coming back to center. That's 1. And out to the right and push off. That's 2. 3. 4. A lot of that body weight gets out on that outer leg. So you have a strong push to come back to center. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Nice work. Okay, now I'm gonna grab a dumbbell or 2. We're going to do upright rows. Okay, so I'm gonna do it from a standing position, and I'm gonna use the things that we've talked about, which is soft knees, sinking hips. I've got 2 dumbbells dangling beneath my shoulders, kind of between my legs. And we talk about pulling up the zipper. So exhale into your low belly, pull up the zipper as high as you can till your hands are at your chest. Good. We have 15 of these, so we can spend this time thinking about which muscles we're using. As our elbows move to the ceiling, we want to be using our shoulders and not our chest. Pausing at the top. Good. Now, if this movement doesn't work for your shoulders at all, you could do a reverse row. So how that would look is, as you guys finish your last two, you'd be here drawing your elbows up so you can have palms facing each other, or an underhand view. Okay, and I'll show that to you in the next set as well. Okay, so that's our upright rows. Now, set your dumbbells down, reach for that additional prop, the stick, okay? More hip work, okay. So I have the chair on the outside of me that I'm gonna use this chair for balance, okay? The stick, oh, chair's on the right side, I think I misspoke, on the right side. The stick is out here on the left. The work we're gonna do will be easier the closer it is to your body. The further away, the harder it's going to be, okay? But I want it to run parallel to your ear, okay? And we're gonna stand on one leg. We're going to send the leg out so the mid side of the foot, right above the ankle bone, hits the stick. Okay, now we're gonna exhale and draw the knee up as high as we can and lower it back down. Exhale as you contract through your oblique, using those glutes. Good, nice and slow. Good, we have 5 more. I know this one is challenging, and we're gonna do 10 on each leg. So working hard, fight for that balance, and breathe. One more. Good, okay. Here we are, moving to the other side. So now I have my chair at a level that I can use it for support as I need to on my left. The stick is in my right, out parallel to my ear, extended away at a level that I can work at. Okay, now I'm ready to stand on my left leg, sending my right leg out. Exhale as I contract and lift. Try to keep your neutral spine. Exhale. Nice and slow, isometric hold at the top. Good, 5 more. Good, nice work. Okay, now we have one more round of this, okay? So we're back to the front, putting the heavy weights in our chair as we do our push-ups. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna use the back of the chair. Hands are on it, nice and neutral, squeezing through the lats, and slowly walk back to a high plank that your body can support, that your core can support. Okay, the weight's on the balls of your feet. You're squeezing through the armpits. Now bend at the elbow, lowering your chest, and press away. 2. Elbows skimming the ribs, press away. Now the closer your feet are to the chair, the easier this is. The further you walk out, the more challenging it becomes. So be mindful that you're able to execute well in wherever you are. Okay, now we have our lateral lunges. Okay, so let's say you don't need the chair and you feel great about this movement. Let's go ahead and grab a dumbbell, elbows into your sides, and it's at your chest. Okay, and ready? Out to the side and to the other side. And use your exhale to push yourself back to center. Good. This goes so fast. We're almost done. One more on each side, and then we're done. Holy smokes. Excellent. Okay. Now we have upright rows. So grabbing those dumbbells again, standing. You can do this seated as well, okay? But if we're standing, weight in your heels, knees bent, soft drop of the hips, exhale, and pull up the zipper, and back down. Good. Like a marionette is drawing your elbows to the ceiling like you're a puppet. 8, 9, and 10. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good, nicely done. Okay, now we need our stick again and the chair, if you need the chair for balance. Okay, stick is in the ground, parallel to ear. I have it on my left side, okay? Send that left leg out, exhale and draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am putting some pressure into the stick, firing it down into the ground. So I get that Latin oblique reminder. 8, 9, and 10. Good, let's switch sides now. Okay, so stick is in my right hand now. All right, ready? Standing on the left leg, send the right leg out, exhale. Good, firing in the stick. Good, 2 more. 9 and 10. Okay, set the stick down. Okay, and we have power marches. Let's go. 30 seconds. Walk off that burn that you felt in your glutes. Let's distribute it. A lot of glute work today. Yay for glutes. Good, you only have 10 more seconds of that good marching action, okay? Get those knees up, make your core nice and tight. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, nice job. Okay, all right. I wrote this workout thinking we could get a lot in today, but I think what we're gonna do now is we are going to do one more set of work and then we'll take it down to the ground, okay? So let's go ahead and let's utilize our chair and we'll turn it in, all right? So we're gonna grasp the chair in this tabletop position, but instead of being weight evenly distributed on all 4 legs of the table, we're gonna send the weight in our legs into the balls of our feet. So we have this modified downward dog, okay? And now we're gonna do a little bit of crunching from this shape, okay? So we're gonna do just 5 on each side, and we're gonna focus on keeping our shoulder blades pulled down, okay, squeezing through the armpits, okay, and then stepping back just a little bit, and we're going to cross body, so knee to opposite elbow. Ready? And we're gonna do 5 on each side. 1, 2, 3, like there's a magnet drawn from elbow to knee, and 5. Good. And switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Okay. Now let's go ahead and have a seat, and we're going to work on our dexterity and strength. Okay, so we're going to do our seated halos, wrapping around our head and our waist. Okay, so I have my elbows in and the dumbbell I'm holding by the ears, and I'm going to do a figure 8 pattern 5 times one way and 5 times the other. Starting around the head, like I'm wrapping around a scarf, and then around the waist and back to the center. And 2. Good. Center. Wrap around, and that's 3. Around the head and around the waist is 4, and around the head and around the waist, that's 5. Okay, now let's change directions. Putting the scarf on the other way. Now, as we send that dumbbell around the body, we are working on our range of motion and our muscles in the backs of our shoulders. So I want you to pass it from hand to hand as well as you're able, keeping your heels glued into the ground to help stabilize your core. Okay, nice. Now, we're going to keep the same dumbbell, and we're going to go into our boat pose overhead press. So if you want to have 2 dumbbells now, you can reach down for it, or for this first set, I'll demonstrate with just 1. So legs are in parallel, heels into the ground, exhale into a reclined position. Neutral spine and not rounded. Strong low belly, we have 15. Ready? Press up and down. Good. Now we're doing this press. Whether the weight is heavy or it's light, the burden that you carry is in your low belly. We're trying to hold that neutral spine as long as we can. 7, 8. So think long spine. 9 and 10. Now we have 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift your chest. And 5, lower the weight, exhale to return your core to its upright position. Nicely done. Okay, now the last one we're gonna do, back to our chairs in this down dog position. And we're gonna contract through our hamstrings and glutes to draw our heel up. So I want you to focus on drawing your heel up in a leg raise, and don't think about pulling the whole leg, okay? Because I want you to use the muscles in the back of your leg, and I want us to draw it up just so that it's parallel to our hips, okay? So here I am in down dog. My weight is on the balls of my feet. I'm squeezing through my lats. I'm creating stability in my shoulders. Exhale, contract and lift the heel, and then slowly return. Exhale, 2. Now, if you like the imagery of a rope, we're contracting on that rope. That's our hamstring. Good, but we're not twisting and rotating. We're contracting, holding. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, switching legs. Exhale, 1. Drawing that heel. 2. We want our big toe to be pointing at the ground as it comes up. 4, 5. Your legs as straight as you can. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Now we're going straight into our ab crunches. Ready? Opposite knee to elbow. 2, 3, we're in the same position. 4, contracting through that low belly. 5, Switch sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, and like there's a magnet, knee to elbow for 5. Good. Okay. Next, we have those halos. So reach for that dumbbell. Okay. Nice and tall on your sit bones. Find them. Legs in parallel, heels on the ground. We want to use those heels to activate that chain of muscles in the backside to help us stay still in our torso. Ready? Wrap the dumbbell around your head like a scarf and around your waist like a belt. Good. Passing it from hand to hand behind your back. That's key. Wrapping it around. And behind. Good. Okay, now we're changing directions. Flipping your brain around. 2, 3. Good. Focus on that dexterity of the hands. 4 and 5. And wrap it around. Good. Okay, now we're going to sit back into boat position. The struggle is the neutral. Okay. Now, if you don't feel like this is too much of a struggle in this boat pose, you can extend the legs out a little bit. So that's going to drive even more tension into your low belly. Be mindful if you start feeling it in your low back, bring the legs in again. Okay. But heels down from tailbone to sacrum. Exhale. 2. Okay, keep your chest lifted. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Excellent. Come back to upright. And then we have our last set of down dogs. Leg raises. Okay. So using that chair in this bent over tabletop position, weight is on the balls of your feet, squeezing through your lats to draw your shoulder blades down a little bit. All right, exhale, contract to the hamstring, draw the heel up. And I'm staying on the same side so I can focus, exhale on the right muscle and try and let go of all the others. So I'm letting go of my quads. My leg is just a dead weight for my hamstring. 3 more. 8, 9, and 10. Good. Let's switch sides. Exhale. 1. Now focus on not rotating and twisting. The headlights are pointed forward. My gaze is down at my chair. Good. 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good. Okay. Now, no power march here. We're going to use our chair if we need to get ourselves down to the ground. Okay. So we can use the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. We're going down into a half kneel. Okay. So using that arm to support us here to get down. All right. Now from here, you can go down to a double leg half kneel or a double leg kneel. And then with that free hand, start melting down to where that hand is going to support your torso as you get down to the ground. Okay, so hopefully you all got there safely. I'm going to move the chair now so it's out of my way. And you guys can lay on your backs with your feet on the ground, knees bent and pointed toward the ceiling. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see me now. My palms are down at my sides and I'm gazing up at the ceiling. Now here's where if you need to support your neck here, you can use that pillow or that rolled up towel. That's what I tend to use here at the club. And my feet are in the ground and I'm thinking about the imprints I'm making into the earth. From my head to my shoulder blades, I'm relaxing the tension in my chest so I feel the heaviness in my lats sinking down. I want to preserve this natural curvature in my cervical spine, so my neck, and also this tiny little natural curvature in my lumbar spine, okay? So it shouldn't be something that you fret about too much, but I want you to feel like you're not pressing your low back into the mat and you're not arching your back, okay? You're just gonna find this nice neutral, all right? And then palms are down. Now, our knees are up toward the ceiling and our feet are on the ground. We're gonna slowly let our knees open up and you might feel the inside of your soles come off the ground. And then I want you to exhale and contract through your inner thighs to draw them back up. So this exercise right now is just for us to think, okay, I can feel my inner thighs and their usefulness. I use this to adduct, to draw in. My inner thigh muscles extend up into the base of my pelvis. I'm contracting, drawing my knees up. And the inner thighs, all of our muscles overlap. And our inner thigh muscles, those adductors, attach inside the base of your pelvis and they happen to overlap with our pelvic floor. So that is our big initiator in our breathing technique as we work on our core in Pilates, okay? So now we found our inner thighs and hopefully that's leading to our pelvic floor. Okay, so as we inhale, we're gonna exhale then and think about those inner thighs and pelvic floor initiating. Good, and with the next exhale, we're gonna take it one step further and think heavy low belly. That low belly muscle below your belly button, deep, deep, deep in that anterior wall. Inhale and exhale, heavy low belly and pelvic floor. Okay, as you do that, you should not feel like you're pressing your low back into the mat. You're just getting heavy enough to preserve your neutral spine. Okay, inhale and exhale. Now we'll take it to the final step. With that exhale, you're going from pelvic floor, inner thigh, pelvic floor, transverse low belly to rib cage closing. Those intercostal muscles residing on the inside of your rib cage. We're gonna gently contract and draw them in so our ribs are nice and tight and not flared out. Good, okay, keep working through that breath as I continue with my instruction. On the next exhale, as you're ready, you're gonna draw one leg off the ground. Okay, your leg is bent. You're gonna draw and contract that right leg from your right oblique. The leg's going to remain bent. So exhale, drawing that right leg up over the right knee. Exhale, and return it back down. So we're training our low belly to work and preserve the spine as we do work, so that when we're doing work, our core is always engaged. Good, so I'm using my left hand to palpate on my low belly. My ribs aren't popping up, my back isn't arching. I'm contracting and then pulling that dead free weight of my right leg up over my hip and back down. Okay, now switch to the other side. Exhale, draw the left leg up and back down. Exhaling with each bit of work. Good. Now, if you're ready, let's keep one leg bent and straighten one leg out. So now our right leg is extended on the ground. Same work, we're just sending more weight away from our center of gravity. So palm down, maintaining that neutral low back. Exhale and draw that straight right leg up over the right hip. Ready? Exhale, lower it with control. Exhale, lift. And exhale, lower with control. Continue a couple more repetitions, being mindful of low belly work, pelvic floor, transverse, and rib cage, all together with one exhale. Good. Now lower that right leg with control. Draw the foot back up so the right knee is pointing toward the ceiling and extend the left leg out. All right, here we go. Exhale and left leg floats up above the hip, and exhale, return it to the ground. Good. One or two more repetitions. We're in this position of great stability here with our hips and our shoulders down on the mat. Good. Okay. Now let's bring your feet back to the mat, knees to the ceiling, and we'll give ourselves a tiny little bit of rest here. Okay. All right. Now we're going to change our level of work. We're going to take it up a notch. Now, hopefully you've got a sense for what your neutral is and how it feels in the ground. Let's keep our palms down, and we're going to exhale and float our right leg back into this chair position. So it should be knee right over hip, and foot is extended out, bent, so it's a right angle, and that foot is dead, okay? My palms are down to remind me to activate through my lat, so I can put gentle pressure into my palms to activate. And now I'm going to exhale and extend that right leg as though it's going out through a male slot, and draw it back in. And exhale, extend, and exhale, return. Everything else is stable. So the left knee remains pointed at the ceiling, in parallel to the left hip. Make sure you draw that knee in only to parallel to hip. We're not resting it back on our chest. Now, the higher up your male slot is here, the easier it's going to be on your low belly. The lower the male slot, the more pressure on your low belly. Pay attention to your low back. You should not feel an arch in your low back. You should feel a heavy belly, and you should maintain rib cage closure. Let's do two more. Exhale. And in. Exhale. And in. Okay, float right leg down with control. Now float left leg up into chair. So chair is knee over hip, nice and parallel. Leg is extended out so it's parallel to the ground and foot is dead. Okay, you ready? Palms down, work through your breathing. Exhale, pelvic floor, transverse rib cage, and slide those toes out through a male slot and return. Exhale and return. This is slow work. It's mindful work. You want to be able to master the low belly work, the breath work before you move on, okay? So we're being very slow and intentional, pausing in this position where work is the hardest, and returning into a position where we're not exactly resting. Exhale. And return. One more. And return. Good. Now float that leg back down to the ground. Okay, our last bit of work, which is going to feel good on our hip flexors, is a glute bridge. So we're going to work our hamstrings and glutes and correspondingly stretch out our hip flexors and our quads. Okay, so palms down on the mat. Legs are in parallel. We have heavy heels and light in the toes. In fact, my toes aren't even going to really be on the ground. Okay, so I'm going to work through my breath and exhale, draw in my belly button, wrapping my transverse so much that my tailbone begins floating up off the ground. My heels get even heavier as I dig in and feel my sacrum lift. And I'm working through one vertebrae at a time. My palms get more active and I'm wrapping and zipping until I elevate up into this declined neutral with my pelvis at the top and my shoulders at the bottom. I'm going to pause and hold here, making sure that I can feel the fire and energy in my hamstrings and glutes. My knees are in parallel and my palms are down. My transverse is deep and wrapped and my rib cage is closed. Good. Now I'm going to start exhaling and softening through my chest. Feel my shoulder blades begin pressing down into the mat as I lower one vertebrae at a time down to the ground like a set of dominoes. Good. And finally, my pelvis comes back to a rest on the ground and my feet are relaxed. Okay. Let's try that again. I like to use these spinal articulation opportunities to visualize like I'm a snake, that I have complete flexibility in my spine, or a contortionist, okay? So palms down, I'm getting myself ready to roll up my spine. My toes are off the mat and my heels are in, okay? I'm gonna exhale into my heavy heels, deepening my transverse as my tailbone begins lifting, and I get heavier and heavier in my hamstrings as my sacrum begins lifting. And now my pelvis goes and I feel my lumbar coming slowly as I begin wrapping my transverse, closing my rib cage, pressing my palms through, and now my hips are on top and my shoulders are at the bottom and I'm in my decline position. Okay, pausing here. Heavy heels, light toes, energy in my hamstrings, heavy low belly, rib cage closed. Now, with my next exhale, I'm going to soften through the chest, soften through the lats, one vertebrae at a time, thoracic to my lumbar, slowly working until my pelvis resets and feet are relaxed. Good. Now draw the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall open wide. And let those inner thighs relax and open as gravity helps your knees and hips soften. Now I have my arms out to my side, not teed, but out to the side, and my palms are up. And I'm focusing on releasing the tension in my inner thighs and in my knee pits, I call it, in that area behind my knees where I tend to hang on to my tension. And I'm just going to work on my breath work and low belly work. So I'm going to have a nice exhale, contracting pelvic floor transverse rib cage. One more long breath, exhale. And inhale. Great. Now contract through your inner thighs, draw your knees to the ceiling. We're going to roll over onto our side, bringing our top arm down, press through that tricep to lift your torso off of the ground. All right, nice work today, guys. I wish we had more time. This was lots of fun. Okay, today is Thursday. I will see you Tuesday. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm loving working on Pilates with you. Have a great weekend. Bye.